What up, YouTube? Long time no see. Let me get my camera together. Hey, what up? So, I wanted to talk to y'all while I'm in another dope location. So this is the Indie Art House Studio, our official art house studio location in the Cleveland area, specifically the Buckeye area. Y'all might hear some background neighborhood noise because we in the hood. That's the best part about this area, is that I wanted to keep it in the hood, specifically because for this area that we trying to redo, I guess, and revitalize, we're specifically revitalizing the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you know where this is at, this location, it's in the heart of the hood, and it could use some tender love and care. This spot that I'm in used to actually be my grandmother's property. So we've officially redone it and turned it into our studio. And yeah, I wanted to keep that hood aesthetic here. I want to continue to build on it. We'll get the lots and we'll, build upon those as well. So yeah, but today I want to do a story time on a very, very, very special moment that happened to me and the indie brand. And it was actually the first time we went viral. So I want to talk about the moment that the great Sid the Kid from the Internet Band wore our classic indie hoodie and took it on the Ego Death tour. Okay, so I guess I'll start back when I talked about like the law of attraction. So like similar to the Nipsey story, I basically was just engulfed in like everything that the internet had to offer in terms of like their music, how they ran their collective as a band. I was into, Sid's artistry when she was a DJ with Tyler the Creator and Odd Future. So it was just like me on some super fan shit. So like this is like back in like early 2015 to 16? Yeah, I think early 2015 though. So I had my brand out for probably about a year because I started everything with indie in 2014. So 2014, I started with the hoodies and t-shirts, and basically it was a clothing brand to start, but it was always a media company, a media platform. But where I was at, which was college, my audience wasn't really ready to, purchase marketing packages and marketing services. So I knew that a clothing brand would start, building attraction crazy. So one of the main things that I knew would be like, super dope to, pump up the brand is to get a celebrity in the brand. So back then, 2014, 15, 16, it wasn't like, it wasn't like it is right now where you could just like, collect, the artist's emails and stuff. And I'll go deeper into how to do that. I'm gonna like actually do some courses on how to break down like how to actually get your marketing done for your brand, how to get your merchandise on celebrities, how to get your merchandise moving across, not just US but UK as well. So I'm gonna break these things down in courses in the very near future. But just like since I already knew marketing, I was already, in school for communications. I didn't necessarily know how to run a business, but I think my privyness in marketing and branding, I kind of just intuitively knew, what steps to go with marketing for this brand. So I just automatically knew, being a fan of Sid, that she would love my brand. Like I just knew. So every time, and this was like, obviously Ego Death wasn't the first project that they did. It was, they did several CDs. Her and Matt had several, mixtape singles out, prior to the whole album coming out and them actually formulating the whole entire like band. So I'm like, okay, didn't know Ego Death was gonna come out, but I was a super fan, and every time I would listen to her music, I was like, yo, first of all, she breaking crazy grounds in music, and she's like doing amazing things. And at that time, I was breaking crazy grounds in like my artistic, area, and doing a whole bunch of just super cool things. So I was like listening to her all the time, and I was always inspired. So just like by default, whenever I would listen to her in that time of me building the brand and the fashion part of everything, I was naturally visualizing her in this hoodie, like all the time, which is this hoodie. It was a classic indie hoodie, but instead of this text being white right here, it's black. So this is like another version of it, but the official classic black indie hoodie is this red indie shot right here on the heart, and then the visual is black on black. So I had a bunch of those hoodies because I had a bunch of orders. I was going crazy with orders when I first started. That's a blessing too, because usually when you first start a brand, you might have hard times getting that traction, and you might have a hard time finding your audience to get you consistent sales. So like, it's a blessing that like I was able to understand marketing, how to build that audience, and how to really like attack my college campus to get those like startup sales, because that went into building and extending the brand throughout the years of me being there. So the first time though it was happening, it was just organic, sales from students, peers, family, XYZ. So when all of that's happening, I'm building a buzz on the internet, but it's not big enough for like a celebrity to see it. You know what I'm saying? It's big enough for my immediate audience, in terms of like college, social media, which, when you growing up, social media for real, all of your followers is just people that you went to school with for real, like in all different facets of your life, mixed with new people that you meet and stuff. So I knew like my audience for sure was rocking with it, but I had never really took it outside of like just my peers. So one day, we basically, and this is fast forward to like by the time the internet had actually dropped Ego Death. So this is like what, it had to be 2015 or 2016. So by the time they actually dropped it, I basically was like in a whole nother position, like brand wise. I think I was a junior in college at that time. I dropped indie. I was a sophomore. So I had a year in of, marketing on campus, talking to people, being more vocal. I remember I had professors in the brand, so I just knew, okay, I know how to talk to people, go up to people, so I know next step in general has to be getting a celebrity in my merch, like, period. That just has to be the next step. Who is it going to be? I don't know, but I'm real connected to this Ego Death album, and it seemed like every single thing in the album of Ego Death was just matching my soul at the moment. I was just like, oh my God, everything she's talking about I'm going through, and I'm like in it, and I'm like, like what the fuck, like this is like my spirit sister. That's how I felt. So I'm like, damn. And then just me building in the music like industry at that time, I was like, just, I don't know, like an internet nerd on like how collectives got together, how like this was like during Tumblr too, so like how different fashion collectives got together, how different just industry collectives and groups and stuff was coming together. I'm researching and I'm just nerding it out on how all of this shit worked, because I'm trying to build a similar collective with indie media. I'm trying to find the, local artists in the Midwest to kind of like build similar structures and infrastructures that you see out in California for the artists in the Midwest, so that we could have a pipeline to not necessarily like get to like a LA, but just to simply get in the industry, period. If you're from the Midwest and like Cleveland, Ohio specifically, it's not really a pipeline to your success in the music industry. Like, you don't have a pipeline of managers, A&R structure, producers, how to get, songs written, writers. Is not like a whole industry of it. It's very, very scattered, and it's like you gotta literally know people to know people to know people to know people to get it just in anywhere of success, which is the music industry in general. But it's easier to navigate that mysterious part of it when you're in a city that already has labels, or you're in a city that already has like a large independent presence of like infrastructure that could assist you to get signed if you want to, or stay independent if you want to, right? Cleveland, we not there yet. We coming, but we not there yet. So since I was at Kent State, I mean, it's really similar to Cleveland. Who the fuck is at Kent? No one. If you just research Kent, Ohio, I'm not gonna lie about the population. I don't know what it is, but it's way less than the amount of people in Cleveland, Ohio. So I'm basically going to college in the sticks. So it ain't no celebrity out there. Ain't no chance of this brand popping except for on the internet. So I had to make sure, like, and I mean like on the internet of like Google, not like the band, but like, on the World Wide Web. It ain't no other way that this brand gonna pop outside of social media, you feel me? So just knowing how I was like a nerd on the behind the scenes of like who was who and who was managing who and who was, connected to who was booking who was who's tour manager, I found out all this shit. So I was just like knowing all of these things, right? Fast forward to, I think they was going on tour in Pittsburgh, and my friend Jessica, shout out to Jessica, she was like, we should go to the Ego Death tour in Pittsburgh. Now, she from Pittsburgh. So I'm like, oh, okay, bet. Now, in the moment, I'm knowing like, oh shit, okay, this is my moment. You feel me? Now, this might be a short story too, but like, I'm gonna back up a little bit because I mentioned law of attraction. So like, I didn't know I was attracting this moment to happen, but I had just started my spiritual journey. I had just started learning about law of attraction. I had just started understanding what it was like to like understand how to like use your imagination with intention, right? So I was just getting in the flow of all of this stuff, like early 2015, like, you feel me? By 2016, I wasn't like solid with it, but I was definitely like still listening to, you know, meditations, mantras, what's her name? Abraham Hicks, you know, stuff like that, Eckhart Tolle, like all this type of, you know, reading the Four Agreements, all of that stuff, like the basics of the spiritual journey, right? I was on that shit. So I already knew about law of attraction in a glimpse, right? Watched the Secret documentary, you know, I watched all that shit. So I was like, okay, but it wasn't really all the way, not necessarily resonating, because it resonated, but I wasn't necessarily all the way like practicing it with intention, you know what I'm saying? So, and I didn't even know that in this moment, technically, it was like manifesting, like, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I was listening to the internet band all the time, you feel me? Resonating with the music, the lyrics going crazy. Like, I'm like, okay, visualizing just by default her in the merch, but not putting those things together in terms of like this shit actually gonna happen one day, you know what I'm saying? So, boom. So when Jessica says, we should go to the internet concert in Pittsburgh, I'm thinking like, damn, we should. That's not far. We could get there, you feel me? That's only like, what, 3 hours away from our college, so boom. So I think we go in her car, or did we go in my other friend's car? I think we went in Jessica's car. So we drove there. It was me, Jessica, and my homie Juwan. Shout out Juwan. So we go, and it's a vibe, right? So main thing on my mind is like getting her this hoodie. And just a tidbit information, it was my last indie hoodie, right? It was the last hoodie that I had in stock at that moment, because all the orders was, you know, shipped out. And this was actually my personal hoodie. Like, it was like, you know, I had probably wore it like a few times, you know what I'm saying? Because like, I wanted to keep my shit crispy for real. But it was definitely my hoodie. It was one of the ones that I was going to keep. You know, I probably had gave my official one away to somebody, like a student or somebody, or did it from some marketing shit. I don't know. But that hoodie, I know I had got it from like a fresh batch prior, saved it, was like, okay, this going to be yours. And was like, you know, probably only wore it to class a few times, took some pictures in it. And I'm thinking like, okay, damn, we going to the internet concert. This the last hoodie I got. I need her in this merch though. And I ain't know how I was going to get her in it, but I knew I had to grab that damn hoodie. So I grabbed the hoodie. We go to the concert. We in the concert. I forget the venue, but it was like a smaller venue. So like instantly, I feel like all three of us was on the same page. Like, we gotta get her in this hoodie. You feel me? Like, cause shout out to Jessica and Juwan. Like, they was really there when I was grinding with Indy in college. Like, they was watching me sell all this shit, coming through, helping me fold orders and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a vibe. So boom. So everybody around me, honestly, at that time knew like Indy is a mission. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if we went to this little, you know, concert, I'm definitely a fan. We gon' vibe. We know all the words to this shit. But Indy is the mission. So when we got there, you know what I'm saying? It was almost like we was all doing telepathy or some shit. Like, we like scanned out the spot. I remember when we walked into the venue, it was like, it's a line. I don't remember standing in that bitch though. On God. Like, I don't remember standing in no line. Like, I remember like following behind Jessica, and she just like got niggas to the front. Like, it was crazy. Even from like the check-in, like I remember the check-in being like super easy breezy for us, like crazy. I remember we walked through the merch table, like was talking to the people almost like we knew them. It's crazy. Even when I think about it, like it was like we was talking to the merch people, the people handling the merch table for the internet, and they was talking to us like we knew each other, and we was just like talking to him like we were homies. So we just walking through and shit. I had my camera. I remember that shit. I had my camera around my neck. And it was just like we got in there. So when we got in there, and it's not like we didn't pay. We paid for tickets and everything. Like, but it was just like they ain't treat us like no regular general admission attendees. You feel me? So when we got in there, it was definitely a few people, definitely like already in there, like a nice amount of people for real. Not even a few. Like that bitch was kind of packed. So we already knew. Okay, one, we not standing in the back. Just on God, hoodie or no hoodie, we ain't never standing in the back. So we gonna get to the front regardless. We just gotta strategize real quick on how we gonna do it. So boom, I remember Jessica leading the way again, and we just start moving through the crowd. I was like, you know, kind of sandwiched in between her and Juwan, you feel me? So like I'm just following, and I remember like we get to like at least like the second row, and we was probably there for a nice like 30-45 minutes. And then, you know, we definitely eased our way to the front, because by the end of the show, we all in the front. Like, we just, that's where we at. And we ain't moved. So, I remember when she came out, like, it was crazy. Like, it's crazy now, as I said. So, I don't know who they was on the tour with, because it definitely was, like, some other people. Either they was local to Pittsburgh, or it was, like, somebody else on tour with her at the time. I don't remember, but that shit was lit. So they came out, they did their set, and I just remember when she was done, like, cause it wasn't like, you know, when she was on stage, we was on some rah-rah, like, da-da-da-da. It was like a little bit before she was done, like, Jessica just threw the hoodie, like, she took the hoodie from me, like, cause I was nervous, like, I ain't gonna lie. I held that bitch the whole concert, like, I held the hoodie the whole concert, and I'm like, in my mind, like, how I'm gonna get this shit, because I ain't want to look like a thirsty nigga. I ain't want to, like, look like a thirsty fan, like, ah, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I was thirsty. So, it's like, you feel me? You gotta take this moment and, like, do what the fuck you need to do with it. Fuck how you look, nigga. The end goal is indie. On see it. Period. That's it. So, boom, Jessica just feeling my energy. I ain't even say none of this shit. I'm just having an anxiety attack, high key, in the middle of the goddamn concert. Jessica literally snatched the hoodie out my hand. She throw that bitch on stage. The drummer, okay, he sees it. Sid sees it too. She looks at the hoodie, like, she catches the hoodie, kind of like, you know, it hit the floor a little bit. She kind of scoop it up before it all the way dropped the floor. So she don't like open or nothing, but she peeked, you feel me? Like, that's my hoodie. And I think I said, like, that's my brand, that's my brand. And she, like, threw it to her drummer, right? So her drummer drumming, he catch it, and then he put it behind him. So he's still drumming. They closing out the show, boom, boom, bam. So they close out the show. We still in the front. We waiting, you feel me? Because, you know, sometimes people leave instantly. Sometimes niggas like to linger. We was them lingering niggas, you feel me? We was lingering. So, we lingering to make sure that hoodie get to see it. Because we don't know what's about to happen, you know what I'm saying? So, boom. So, we still there. People leaving. They, you know, filling out, going back into the parking lot and shit. We still in there. So, we see him, the drummer. Shout out to, you know, shout out Chris. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, he's, you know, basically like, yo, this hoodie is fire. I'm like, yo, thank you. Like, can you give it to Sid? Like, that's for Sid. Can you make sure she get it? So he like, for sure, for sure. So he go take the hoodie and he take it back to Sid. While he's walking back to Sid, she's walking up to the front. I'm assuming to go back and get the hoodie, right? I don't know. So boom. So we standing there, definitely looking like some super fans. And you feel me? He's walking towards her with the hoodie. She's already walking our way. And he hands it to her. He like, this for you. And she's like, thank you, man. Thank you. And then like she come over to us and I literally like froze, bro. Like I froze. It was like I turned into like an ice stick. It was crazy. So like Jessica and Juwan was like, you know, saying what's up, how you doing, da da da. And then like they was kind of like, get your shit together, nigga. So I was like, hey, you feel me? What's up? I'm Jada. This is my brand, Indie. That's my hoodie. I want you to make, you know, I want you to rock it, da da da. So like that was my first time talking to a celebrity. That was my first time saying like any words to a celebrity. Like what? Like even when I think about it, like it was like I said some professional shit, but I was so nervous. Like it was so crazy. So she took the hoodie, she opened it up. She was like, oh, this is dope, man. This is dope. So I was like, Appreciate you. You feel me? Like, just like geeked up. So I ain't even asked for no picture or nothing. Cause I don't know. It was the same with Nipsey. I ain't asked for no picture, but like we ended up taking pictures. But with Sid, we ain't take no picture. It was just like an even like energy exchange of a vibe. It was like I gave her the hoodie, we vibed, we hugged. I remember that shit. And then like me, you know, Jessica and Joanne went to go get some food. Like we went to go get some food, and then we go back to, you know, Kent. So I remember the like shit. If it wasn't the next day, it was like 2 days after, cause it was no longer than 48 hours for sure. I remember getting out of class in one moment, checking my phone, and it was just like crazy. Like it was just like everybody was atting me on Instagram. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I go look at the Instagram, and she is in the, you know, in the hoodie, and I'm tripping, cause I'm like, this shit just happened. Like we literally just gave her the hoodie, bruh. Like, what? Now I do psychology and shit. Like I wasn't majoring in psychology, but I'm just obsessed with the brain and how niggas think and how niggas act, right? So I'm like, man, okay, if she wearing the hoodie already, you feel me? Like she fuck with that shit. Like she really fuck with the brand, bruh. So I'm like, oh my God. So it was crazy. So I start sending it to my mom, my brother. I'm like, Sid wearing the hoodie. Sid wearing the indie hoodie. Sid wearing the hoodie. Like, ah. I remember like me and Jessica ran off the fucking house. I did a lap around my apartment, bruh. I swear to God, I ran a lap around my apartment. I came back. I was tripping. I'm like, what the fuck? So like, boom. So she was at the Baltimore Soundstage, okay, in Baltimore, which is crazy because that's where my homie Jawan is from. It was just crazy. Like, we seen her in my homie Jessica hometown. She do the show where she wearing my hoodie in my other homie hometown. It's just like, what? So it's just like all this like synchronicity, like law of attraction shit just was law of attraction, and then, you know what I'm saying? It was just boom, 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 boom. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So this shit going viral. And I'm just like, what the, so this how it feel when you go viral. Like, it just be a bunch of what the fuck moments, just like all day for a series of hours. Like, it's just like, holy shit. So, and it was everybody, like everybody that I knew, like people who, you know, had bought the hoodie before tagging the actual brand of, you know, where to find the merch. It was people tagging me, Indie Media, tagging Indie Shop. I'm like, what the fuck? So then when I go on there and I find the source, I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much for, you know, taking this video. Like, that's my brand. She wearing my brand. And she was just like, you know, that was a dope show. Like, you know, I was just capturing the footage of the show type shit. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, I appreciate you because, you know, we wouldn't have seen that if she wouldn't have captured it. I'm going to put it in here too. But, like, bruh, that was crazy. Like, and then just like to just make it even crazier, they took the hoodie on tour, bruh. They took the hoodie on the Ego Death tour. By the time that tour was done, which was crazy because they landed in Cleveland, which is wild. It's wild they had... Listen, bruh. So look, the whole tour, bruh. From that point, from the point we seen them in Pittsburgh, they had that hoodie at every tour location. Each person, the only person that didn't wear the hoodie was Matt. On God. Like, literally. The only person that didn't wear that hoodie was Matt. That's it. Probably Matt and the drummer, but I think the drummer put that thing on too. I swear to God, CJ put that thing on. So in photos and interviews and just like things that they was doing throughout the tour for the promo of that tour, that indie hoodie was on somebody's body. Either it was Sid's body it was on, or it was Kentaro at the time that it was, you know, it was on his body. Like literally, like it was just back and forth, or you would just see it like laying around in a photo. You would just see it on a couch or some shit. I'm like, these niggas really fuck with my brand. That shit was crazy. That was like, that energy literally like kind of glided me through my whole rest of my college experience and shit. Like that shit was a crazy confirmation. That was a beautiful confirmation. Like, shout out to Sid and the internet. Shout out to everybody, you know, who assisted with that moment, like the homies, because that right there showed like just consistency. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think about a brand, you think about doing it, you think about how it's gonna feel. You might think about making some money from it, you know what I'm saying? But you don't really know how to think about that first moment where it actually do what you wanted to do. And that shit happen, and it can happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think I'm even telling this story to let y'all know, like, that shit is possible. Like, your first viral moment, you know what I'm saying? Your first 10K, your first 100K, like, all of that shit is possible. So, like, man, like, I ain't even know that my brand would lead me into being this type of person to be telling these type of stories. But it's just like, man, do what you want to do. If you got an idea for a brand, idea for a business, whatever, do that shit now. Don't wait on it. It don't matter what age you are. As soon as the bubble thought come into your mind, just start doing that shit. Just start figuring it out. Start writing down the ideas. Start thinking of different ways you could bring it to life. Start talking to people. Don't be scared to talk to people and ask for information on how to make your actual dream come to life. Don't be shy. That shit gonna work. Long as you do them things and just open your mouth and ask for what you want, including talking to God like that, ask God. Open your mouth, ask God what you want. That shit gonna happen. Like, it's gonna happen. Whew. So, man, shout out to that story time. Shout out to Sid again. Like, thank you. Man, thank you. And I know we gonna link again, you feel me? Like, I know we gonna link again. I done seen CJ. CJ was just at my last party, bruh. Okay, tidbit, more information. I just did a party in LA. What, probably like 4 months ago at this point? That was like, what? Was that May? Yeah, that was like May. So I just did a party in Los Angeles in May. Indie Vibes LA. Y'all can look at the video on my page, on my YouTube page. So I'm doing the show. Shout out my homie Bobby Earth. So we got my homie Bobby Earth. He doing a set. And I don't be knowing who gonna come to the vibes, it's an indie vibe. Like, anybody is susceptible to come to the indie vibe. So it just be a vibe all the time. So I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a vibe. I know it's gonna be a vibe. We in LA, it's always a vibe. We having a party, it's gonna be a vibe. So we get there, it's definitely a vibe. It's my party, like, what? And of course I'm late to my party. But I set the shit up, but I gotta be late. It's my shit. So boom, get there. It's a vibe already. Niggas outside chilling. It's an art gallery venue. Shout out Chip the Ripper for helping me bring that to life. Like, you feel me? It's a vibe. So boom. So we get there. And I'm like, okay. I'm liking it. You feel me? Musicians is coming in. The people coming in. The drinks is flowing. We got the merch out sitting there already. The bitches is there. It's a vibe. So I'm like, okay. So boom. So I got like art activities and stuff upstairs and stuff. So I'm like checking all that stuff out. I go check out the little art activities and I come back downstairs. I see Bobby Earth walking in with CJ, the drummer from the internet. So I'm like, I ain't gonna run up to niggas and say nothing. But like, I know that like, it was me back in 2015 that gave you the indie hoodie to get a Sid. I know that's me. Like, I'm looking at you. And it was crazy because when I walked up, like, kind of like around his like area, he looked at me. And we locked eyes. And I was like, fuck it, what's up? And I went over there and I gave him a hug and he gave me a hug. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? But I'm just saying, you feel me? Like, God really be doing things and putting things in motion for mysterious things to happen. And it's not, everything is not to stick like glue. You know what I'm saying? Everything is not to be attached forever and ever. But it's like, God put little shits and shits together to mix up your recipe or whatever it is that you asked for, so that when it come out just like how you said you wanted it. You know what I'm saying? Probably even better, because if we got God as the main chef in that bitch, that's a crazy meal that he whipping up, which is why certain little random little things gotta come in there, like random ingredients that you just don't get, So, man, my metaphors be hitting. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it just be serendipitous. So, shout out to serendipity. Shout out to the law of attraction. Shout out to, dreams coming to reality. Because I think that's what, my whole channel is about. Like, letting y'all know that your dreams come into reality. Like, the shit is not a fucking joke. So, you feel me? I'm going to hop off here. Thank y'all for listening to my story. Just know if you want to get your shit on a celebrity, you can do that. Like I said, I'm going to have an actual breakdown course of how to do these things professionally, so you're not just bombarding niggas at concerts, you know what I'm saying? Because it's definitely a way to do it. My way worked that day, but I wouldn't do that again. So, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to be on here more to talk about these things, and then I'm going to actually like build a course out so I can link it so y'all can actually like look at stuff like that. And like the ones that's really tapped in on how to build a brand to that capacity, y'all gonna vibe with it, you feel me? So yeah, I'm about to enjoy the rest of my Saturday. Shout out to the Art House, you feel me? If you in Cleveland, come and rock with it, come and check it out, come tour it. And yeah, peace out.